Hi, JC here with another Pacific Fence Spotlight, and today's episode is about a TV show called Psych. Psych is a show on the USA Network on Wednesday evenings. The premise of the show is a guy pretends to be a psychic to help solve crimes. It's a very funny show starring James Roday and Dule Hill. Now, a couple weeks back, I went up to Vancouver where they filmed Psych, and we got to visit on-location set and do roundtable interviews of the various cast members. It was a lot of fun. Had other bloggers and newsies from across the nation and international, because there were some from Canada as well, and it was a lot of fun. We had some really good times, and today's episode, part one of this whole episode, we're going to be interviewing C. Thomas Howell. Now, for the rest of the week, however, we're going to be posting one episode a day, or one part of this episode per day. The second part will be on Sunday, and that will be Tim Ormundson. Third will be Monday, and that will be Maggie Lawson. Fourth will be Dule Hill on Tuesday, and then wrapping up the episode and the week, we'll be speaking with James Roday on Wednesday, and that, of course, is also the mid-season finale of this season's show of Psych. So we're kind of leading up to that, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So here's the roundtable interview with C. Thomas Howell, and enjoy.
So don't be shy.
Were you not fond of your original birth name?
I was fond of it, but essentially I'm a junior. So instead of being a junior, I went with the initial, which was chosen for me by my father at a young age. It's hell having a name nobody knows what to call you. Hi, what do we call you? I don't. Maybe Frank. I don't know. But now I'm stuck with it. I've pondered dropping the C before, but people are like, well, you can't do that now. You're C. Thomas Howell, and if you drop the C, you'd be somebody else. So it's C. Thomas.
Kind of like if a rose by any other name.
Yes.
I am that.
So, I have a question.
All right.
You've played comedy, you've played heroes, you've played villains. What do you prefer? I remember you on Criminal Minds as Foyette. And that was a disturbing role.
Really?
You were sadistic.
Really?
You killed Hotch's wife.
I just had no use for her at the time.
She wasn't a regular.
No, you didn't kill a serious
It's just a recurring role. It's more fun playing the bad guy, but the responsibility is different. Usually when you're the bad guy, you don't, come back for season 5. So it's great coming in and creating an arc for yourself and carving out the evil doings. But I also like the responsibility of playing a lead as well. And it's just thank God there's both, and doing both is really the first choice. But generally, if you're the good guy, you're the lead, and if you're the bad guy, you're about 4th or 5th banana. So there's a trade-off. However, the bad guys are usually the most remembered. So,
You've been acting forever. Was there ever...
Pretty much.
Forever in your life.
Methuselah Howell.
Was there ever a time in which you contemplated another career, or was it just always this?
All of my family are stunt people. My father was one of the top 5 stuntmen in the business for years and years and years. He's semi-retired now. My sister, my mother, my cousins, my uncles, all stunt people. So at Thanksgiving, when we're sitting at a table like this, it's all stunt people, and then somebody inevitably is like, would the sissy pass the potatoes? That'd be me there. That's what it's like in my house. So if there was a career change, I probably would have done stunts, so I would have been in the same business. There was never an inkling of going off to college to become, a doctor or something. I always knew I would be in the business. I just thought I would be doing stunts. And when I was a young man, I did stunts with my father all the time. And when I was 12, I got the role in E.T. because I could do stunts on the bike. I was one of the only kids that could actually do the stunts on the bike, so that's why they went with me. I was sort of the stunt kid. The other kids were the acting kids. And, that sort of led to the audition process for The Outsiders, and I was cast in that. So I went from Spielberg to Coppola, and then some agents started scratching their head going, maybe you shouldn't do stunts. And the rest is history.
Can you tell us about your character in this episode?
I play Federal Agent Driggs, who is put on the case to search for Franca, she plays Nadia, who's this sort of international mystery woman. And I've been tracking her down and followed her to Santa Barbara. As it turns out, my partner, played by Terry Chen, Tom Fong, is really the bad guy, even though the onus is placed on me. You're thinking as I'm going through things that maybe I've got something to do with the shenanigans here, because I'm sort of a hard ass and sort of it looks like I might be the one driving the problems when in actuality it turned out to be my humble partner.
So is there a bit of a friendship then between you and Lassiter, since you're both kind of hard asses, or is there tension?
Well, I'll tell you a little secret between me and Lassiter. The original pilot that was shot, the screen test came down between me and Tim to play Lassiter. So there's definitely some hate between the two of us. And on day one, over at the studio, I take one, day one, I accidentally stepped on one of Tim's lines and cut him off, and he said, "Howell, give it up. You didn't get the role, for God's sakes. Okay, get over it." So when they asked me to come up, I couldn't wait to come up and do evil things to Tim when he wasn't looking.
Do you guys have a moment where you sort of look at each other and adjust your own ties? Like this one, like,
you know what's great is thank God they went with him, by the way. They're into season 5. If they went with me, I would have tanked this thing season 1 for sure. But he's a wonderful actor and has great moments. And I've done a lot of television the past couple of years, and this is one of the warmest sets I've been on. These people really get along extremely well, and everybody knows what they're doing, and it's just kind of like slipping into a warm jacuzzi. You know? It's really comfortable.
So have you had a chance to just get out and enjoy the Vancouver area since?
Well, on the weekend, of course, it rained, so that was my time off there. But I love Vancouver, and maybe I love getting out of LA is what I should say. But coming up here is just a great experience. It's 2-hour flight and beautiful scenery, and I got friends up here. I work up here about once every year or two, so much is shot here. And, it's like little mini Hollywood away from home. So it's funny. You come out of the hotel at the Sutton place, and there's like 14 vans. You got to search through the drivers to find out which car to get into. I always look forward to coming up here.
And Mark Sheppard once said that no one ever plays the bad guy. They walk into it playing. You know what I mean? He said that no one ever plays the villain. They play either, was it the last man on Earth, or the one who sold the last man on Earth out. So, how do you, when you approach even a hard ass?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that
means. You don't go out with the twirly mustache and the big black cape. That you come into a character, for instance, like the Reaper. Like
you said, I was creepy on the Reaper, but if you really watch, that closely, I'm not playing creepy at all. I'm really just playing Ponyboy with gray hair, going around stabbing people. But the writing usually takes care of itself, and if you indicate and if you start playing something, that's generally bad acting. So you try to stay away from those choices. Try to stay away from anything sort of deliberate. And you just have to trust the words and trust the moment. And generally something bigger than what you could have come up with alone in your, rehearsal time will take place if you allow it to happen. And that's helped out a lot on this show. I mean, on network shows, it gets difficult, if you how the suggestion, if you want to change something, it's got to go through 40 people before it gets back to you to make a change. The writers are on the set here. If something's not making sense, it's pretty apparent, and the adjustment is usually made on the fly. And of course, working with Dulé and Rodet, you got to be on your toes anyway, because you never know what's going to come out of their mouths. So.
And that's all we have for today's part 1 of this 5-part episode. And until next time, this is JC reminding you, your geek is our geek at Pacific Fin Spotlight.
I scream and shout so you can hear. I tell you that the end is near. I still can't stand, I still can't think. You win me with my favorite drink. Give me that glass, though I feel asinine. And if I can't grump, I'll drink plum wine.